The hour has come and the quorum of this council is present. This council is now coming to order. Before proceeding, I will ask all those present to please set your cell phones to silent and or vibrate. Thank you very much. As a matter of personal privilege, just want to remind our members that council caucus starts at 9:30 a.m. and city council session starts at 10 a.m. To give our invocation this morning, the chair recognizes Reverend Jeffrey Jordan, senior pastor of Whosoever Metropolitan Community Church in Philadelphia. He is here today as guest of Councilman Rue Landau. I will ask all members and guests to please rise.
Mr. President, members of City Council, good morning.
Good morning.
I'm Reverend Jeffrey H. Jordan, the senior pastor of Whosoever Metropolitan Community Church, the oldest entity in Philadelphia that serves the LGBTQIA community. As one who lives at the intersection of homophobia and racism, it's an honor to be here during a time when there are so many who want to erase the history of my race and dismantle the flag of my sexuality. As I discussed with Councilperson Landau, this is not my first time or my first opportunity to give the invocation for this council. This honor was first extended to me in the 90s by Councilman Ortiz. Recently, I was with Council Ortiz, and he expressed to me that according to his knowledge, I was the first openly gay clergy invited to give the invocation. Whether that's true or not, I'm back. This time, I have been invited by the first openly queer councilperson, Councilperson Rue Landau. We've come very far here in Philadelphia, but still in our country, we have far to go. Will you pray with me? To the one whom no single word or name can capture your full divine essence, we now pray. Holy, sacred, sovereign, who is known by many names, we gather here today acknowledging our need for your guidance as we face the important matters of our city. We thank you for our council members who have been elected to public service and the opportunity that they have to steward the resources and well-being of this city. We ask that you grant this council wisdom to govern amid the conflicting interests and issues of our time. May their decisions be driven not by fear, greed, or personal ambition, but by a commitment to justice, righteousness, and the common good. We ask for special wisdom for the council to protect the vulnerable, support the marginalized, and build bridges rather than walls. May their decisions build a foundation for a future of peace, prosperity, and justice. Give them ears to listen to the people they serve, patience in their deliberations, and courage to do the right thing. We pray that you will protect them from those who would do them harm, and when they lay down their heads, may they rest well, knowing that their struggles and weariness is for the good of all humanity. Ashe and amen.
Council will be at ease. The chair thanks the Reverend for his invocation. The next order of business is the approval of the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February the 5th, 2026. The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February 5th, 2026 be approved.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the journal of the meeting of Thursday, February the 5th, 2026 stand approved. All those in favor will indicate by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the journal is approved. The next order of business is request for leave of absence, and the chair recognizes Councilmember and Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. On behalf of the majority, there are no requests for leave of absence today.
The chair thanks the Majority Leader. The chair recognizes Councilmember Deputy Whip of the Minority Party, Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. I've asked for a leave of absence for Minority Leader Kendra Brooks.
The chair thanks the council member, and leave will be granted. The chair now recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain legislative matters that may arise during the course of today's session of council and that were not listed on the calendar circulated prior to today's council session.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that any of the following matters, if considered today, may be added to the agenda for this session of council and as required by law, subsequently published on an amended agenda after the consideration of those matters. Resolutions authorizing hearings, amendments to bills on first reading, the reconsideration of a bill vetoed by or recalled from the mayor, amendments to bills recalled from the mayor, resolutions taking substantive action to be voted on in this session, a motion to withdraw a bill or resolution that is not on the calendar, and a motion placing a bill or resolution on or returning a bill or resolution from the suspension calendar that is not listed on today's calendar. The purpose of this motion is to provide the public with notice concerning possible actions by council that arose too late to be included on the calendar that was published prior to today's session.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the legislative matters stated by Councilmember and Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson may be added to the agenda for today should those matters arise during the course of this session of council. All in favor will indicate by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The chair will dispense with the regular order of business to recognize the guests and visitors joining us in chambers this morning. On behalf of all members of City Council, I welcome you to our council session. We appreciate you taking your time to join us as we attend the legislative affairs of our great city. We certainly invite you to come again. As there are no presentations today, the next order of business is Chair recognizes Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. President. Today I rise to recognize the presence of a school district of Philadelphia student who will be joining my office for the next 6 weeks for an internship program where he will shadow Philadelphia city government, specifically here in City Council. So allow me to welcome a high school senior at Abraham Lincoln High School, Marco Anclave. Please welcome him to Philadelphia City Council. And for my colleagues in the Northeast, he's a resident of Fox Chase. So we welcome you all the way here to Philadelphia City Council. Thank you very much, Council President.
Thank you very much. The next order of business is communications. The chair requested that Sergeant at Arms deliver the messages from the mayor to the chief clerk. The chief clerk will read the messages from the mayor and any other communications in her possession.
Council President, there are no communications from the mayor today.
Thank you. Well, the next order of business is the introduction of bills and resolutions. The chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Anthony Phillips.
Thank you, Council President. I just wanted to quickly also just note that Samir Taylor is a student at Abraham Lincoln High School. He's a senior, and he's joining us for our office for the next 6 weeks as well. So just want to say that really quickly. I have no bills. I missed my part. I have no bills and resolutions, Council President.
Thank you, Dr. Phillips. And the time to acknowledge individuals is during the welcoming part, sir.
I knew that was coming.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Catherine Gilmore Richardson.
Thank you, Council President. Today I offer one non-privileged resolution on your behalf.
Thank you very much. Will the chief clerk please read the title of the non-privileged resolution?
A non-privileged resolution confirming the appointment of Wesley R. Payne IV as a member of the Board of Ethics to serve in the term ending November 16, 2029.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. The chair recognizes Councilman Jamie Gaultier.
Good morning, Council President. Today I'm introducing one non-privileged resolution, and I'm co-introducing it with Minority Leader Kendra Brooks, Minority Whip Nicholas O'Rourke, and Councilmember Rue Landau.
Thank you very much. Will the chief clerk please read the title of the Progressive Caucus resolution?
A non-privileged resolution expressing support for Jerome Richardson and our First Amendment rights in the face of political persecution against protesters by the Trump administration.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at our next session of council. The chair recognizes Deputy Majority Whip, Councilmember Isaiah Thomas.
Good morning, Council President. Good morning, colleagues. Good morning to the listening public. I have one resolution today. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you very much. Would the Chief Clerk please read the title of the resolution?
A privileged resolution celebrating and recognizing February 15th as 215 Day of Giving, an annual observance that honors Philadelphia's identity while strengthening and highlighting the role of nonprofit organizations serving under-resourced and underserved communities.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilmember Curtis Jones Jr.
Good morning, Mr. President and colleagues. Today I offer a privileged and a non-privileged resolution, one co-introduced by Dr. Nina Ahmad and the other Jeffrey Young.
Thank you very much. Would the Chief Clerk please read the title of the privileged and non-privileged resolution, please?
A non-privileged resolution renaming the 3000 block of West Harper Street Joy Hill Way to honor the life and legacy of Joyce Hill.
This resolution will be placed on the final passage calendar for consideration at the next session of council.
And a privileged resolution honoring and recognizing the observance of the holy month of Ramadan in the city of Philadelphia.
Takbir. This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilman Rue Landau.
Good morning, Council President, colleagues, and guests. I have nothing today.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Councilman Ketty Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. Good morning, everyone. I have two privileged resolutions today.
Thank you very much. Would the Chief Clerk please read the title of the privileged resolutions?
A privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Housing, Neighborhood Development, and the Homeless to hold hearings to examine the Office of Property Assessment, its assessment methodology, appeals process, and the impact of rising property assessments and property taxes on Philadelphia residents.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution authorizing a joint hearing between the Committee on Public Safety and the Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to examine the presence of firearms in public recreation spaces, the enforcement of existing laws, and strategies to reduce gun violence in parks and playgrounds across the city of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilman Jeffrey Young.
Good morning, Mr. President. No bills or resolutions today.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilmember Jim Harity.
Thank you, Council President. I have nothing today, but I also would like to ask that everybody keep Senator Street's Executive Director, Kasib Carter, in prayer. He had a heart attack last night. Thank God his wife came home, found him on the floor, and was able to resuscitate him. And then the ambulance came and took him to the hospital, but he is on a ventilator and all breathing tubes, so please keep him in prayer.
We will. And I prefer for you also to make that announcement during the announcement section at the end of the council, okay?
Yes, sir.
All right, thank you very much. The chair recognizes Councilman Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. Nothing today, sir.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Councilman Mike Driscoll.
Morning, Mr. President. I have one bill today.
Thank you very much. Would the chief clerk please read the title of the bill?
An ordinance authorizing the installation, ownership, and maintenance of an elevator encroachment in the vicinity of 3400 Aramingo Avenue, Philadelphia, PA 19134, under certain terms and conditions.
This bill will be referred to the appropriate committee. Would the chief clerk, chair recognizes Councilman Brian O'Neill.
Thank you, Mr. President. I offer no bills or resolutions.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilman Mark Squilla.
Thank you, Mr. President. No bills or resolutions.
Thank you very much. Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass. I'm going to recognize Councilwoman Dr. Nina Ahmad to introduce bills on behalf of Councilmember Cindy Bass.
Yes, thank you, Council President. My colleague has 4 privileged resolutions.
Thank you very much. Would the chief clerk please read the privileged resolutions introduced by Councilmember Dr. Nina Ahmad on behalf of Councilmember Cindy Bass?
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Reverend Michael A. Major Sr. during Black History Month for his extraordinary leadership, faith-driven service, and unwavering commitment to the renewal, restoration, revitalization of the Nicetown Tioga community, and celebrating his installation as senior pastor at Zion Baptist Church.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution recognizing and honoring February 20th, 2026 as Love Your Pet Day in the city of Philadelphia.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution honoring Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck Jr. for his service visionary ministry, and contributions to the community as senior pastor of Grace Baptist Church of Germantown in recognition of Black History Month.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar.
And a privileged resolution honoring Bishop J. Lewis Felton from the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ for his extraordinary lifetime service, leadership, and lasting contributions to the spiritual, civic, and social well-being of the city of Philadelphia during Black History Month.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The chair recognizes Councilmember Dr. Nina Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. I have one privileged resolution.
Thank you very much. Will the chief clerk please read the title of the privileged resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing February 17th, 2026 as the Lunar New Year and celebrating the cultural and historical significance of Philadelphia's Asian American and Pacific Islander communities.
This resolution will be placed on today's final passage calendar. The next order of business is reports from committee. The chair recognizes our Majority Leader, Catherine Gilmore Richardson, for a report from the Committee on Law and Government.
Thank you, Mr. President. The Committee on Law and Government reports out 2 bills with a favorable recommendation.
Thank you very much. Will the chief clerk please read the report?
The Committee on Law and Government, to which were referred the following bill and resolution. Bill number 251098, an ordinance providing for the submission to the qualified electors of the City of Philadelphia of the proposal set forth in a resolution approved by Council proposing an amendment to the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter relating to the creation of the Office of Youth Ombudsperson and authorizing and directing the appropriate officers to publish notice and to make arrangements for the special election. Respectfully reports it has considered the same and returns the attached bill to Council with a favorable recommendation. And resolution number 251108, resolution proposing an amendment to the Philadelphia Home Rule Charter, providing for the creation of the Office of Youth Ombudsperson and providing for the submission of the proposed amendment to the electors of Philadelphia, respectfully reports it has considered and amended the same and returns the attached resolution to Council with a favorable recommendation. There are no further bills or resolutions to report out from the Committee on Law and Government, Council President.
Thank you very much. The chair recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move that the rules of council be suspended as to permit first reading of the bills just read into the record by the chief clerk.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the rules of council be suspended so as to permit the consideration of these bills just read by the chief clerk at today's session of council. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. These bills will be placed on our first reading calendar for today. The next order of business is the consideration of the calendar. I note that the bills just reported from committees with the suspension of rules have been deemed to have had a first reading. These bills will be placed on the second reading and final passage calendar for the next session of council. As there are no additional bills on the first reading calendar, the chair recognizes Majority Leader Catherine Gilmore Richardson for a motion concerning certain bills and resolutions on the second reading and final passage calendar.
Thank you, Mr. President. The following bills and resolutions are being called up from the second reading and final passage calendars today. Numbers 260086, 260089, 250988, and 251031. The following bills and resolutions on the calendar are being held: 241070, 241056, 250768, 250807, 250843, 250917, 250980, 251025, and 251097. 250989 is being amended.
Thank you. Before considering these bills and resolutions, we will consider public comment as follows. Your public comment must concern matters on the second reading and final passage calendars for possible action at today's council session. All speakers must sign up in order to testify. If you have not already signed up for today's session, please do so now by giving your name to Ms. Hassan at the table outside the rails to my left. Don't give her a hard time, she's from South Philly too. Once you have signed up, you will be called in the order in which your name appears on a sign-up sheet. Under ideal circumstances, public commenters each will have 3 minutes to speak. However, this time limit may vary from session to session. Today, the time limit will be 2 minutes. In order to be fair to all those wishing to speak, I intend to hold faithfully to the 2-minute limit. When you begin speaking, you will see a green light on the podium. When there are 30 seconds remaining to your time, the light will turn yellow, which is your reminder to please conclude your remarks. Once 2 minutes have passed, the light will turn red, and the sergeant at arms will disconnect the microphone. Please don't get an attitude with him. He's only doing his job. At that point, please yield the podium to the next speaker if you have not done so already. I also reserve the right pursuant to our rules of City Council to limit repetitious comments on the same subject matter. I will now ask the Chief Clerk to please read the name of our first speaker.
Will Lindsay Hardees, April Velez, Jeremy Blatstein, Jody Applebaum, and Judith Robinson please make your way to the podium?
Jody Applebaum. There we go. Jody Applebaum. I agree that indiscriminate breeding contributes to shelter overcrowding. However, by classifying all breeding by individuals as indiscriminate and contributory, this bill affects the very people to whom buyers should turn for a puppy. I am an AKC breeder of merit. It means I have demonstrated outstanding commitment to breeding high-quality dogs from champion lines. I follow the recommendations specific to my breed for health tests of any dog used in breeding. The goal is to have puppies with good, even temperaments who are structurally sound and are free from inherited health problems. We vet our potential owners thoroughly and often say no. My puppies are registered with the AKC within weeks of their birth. We have contracts, and our relationship begins with that contract. If for any reason the owner cannot care for the dog at any point in its life, we will take it back without exception. Nobody who goes through the interview process and pays what we ask for our dogs is going to abandon that dog to the streets. Activists have done their very best to remove all distinctions between responsible and irresponsible breeders. It is insulting to be lumped together with the people at whom this bill is directed. What makes us different? Dedication to a breed, to their health, to their structure, to their temperament, to our puppies and to their owners. Breeders like me are actually allies because we do our very best to educate people away from the backyard breeder, the Lancaster Puppy Mill, and the slick internet website. If this bill passes, I will be forced to leave the city that I love so I do not endanger a breeding program that has taken years. Thank you.
Once again, will Lindsay Hardees, April Velez, and Judith Robinson please make your way toward the podium?
Hello, my name is Jeremy Blatstein. Thank you, Councilwoman Bass, for your bill. My friend Jess would be very supportive of this. She adopts from the SPCA time after time, and this bill is really important to her. The other two bills we're speaking of course, is everyone's favorite councilman, Councilman Young. Yes, thank you for withdrawing your Hahnemann overlay bill. I know your goal was to get more housing built in your district, so goal accomplished. Thank you very much. The other two bills that you have, you're holding one of them. It's regarding the demolition ban that you say is going to stop blight and gentrification. It's just not true and is a problem. It's just gonna add cost to small developers, right? We're really trying to help small developers be successful, and more blue tape is not what we need. Mayor Parker said it herself yesterday. In order to tackle this problem, we need to do supply and production. That should be the goal of every bill, and this bill is going to prevent that. The goal is to grow Philly to 2 milli, and your other bill in terms of small businesses is just gonna be hurt small businesses, right? 11 p.m., I don't know, what if you want to get something to eat real fast? What if you want to get something from the corner store? This bill prevents that, and realistically, restaurants that don't have liquor license would have to close at 11 p.m. I don't think you should be the restaurant thing is a big deal right now. And last but not least, we're talking about SEPTA. The GM of SEPTA, who was here last week, right, fighting for SEPTA funding. I encourage each and every one of you to ride SEPTA right now. I think you'll see the improvements that have been happening with the SEPTA system with these new fare gates. But realistically, it's a partisan issue, and everybody should be advocating for more SEPTA across the aisle because we need this for Philadelphia in 2026. Thank you.
Will Amanda Eldridge, Samantha Craven, Charles Hull, Adam Oldman, and David Jenkins please make your way to the podium?
Good morning, Amanda Eldridge. As a veterinarian, I have seen firsthand the effects of irresponsible backyard breeding. These consequences include poor genetic planning resulting in congenital defects, a complete lack of veterinary care, significant rise in preventable infectious diseases, and an increase in surrendered animals. The following instances are not hypotheticals or potential outcomes. These are actual events I myself have experienced. These consequences show in the entire litter of 8 puppies brought in with parvovirus and losing their lives because the breeder did not vaccinate the mom, who therefore cannot protect her puppies by passing on the antibodies. This shows in the dog showing up in dystocia, which is having trouble giving birth, who requires an emergency C-section and has had 0 medical oversight. No vaccinations, no genetic or health screenings, no imaging to even know how many puppies are in there, as this all cuts into profit margins. Backyard breeding prioritizes profit over welfare. This is a deliberate and reckless practice. When overbred females are no longer profitable and puppies are no longer selling due to overabundance or illness, or when people who have purchased these animals cannot afford the care they need due to actions or lack thereof of these breeders, these animals are surrendered, or worse, abandoned, and Act Philly picks up the pieces. This legislation represents a critical step toward reducing suffering, protecting our community, and giving Act Philly a fighting chance to fulfill its mission responsibly and humanely. So as a Philadelphia born and raised resident, as a veterinarian, and as an advocate for both animal welfare and public health, I strongly urge you to support this bill. Thank you.
My name is Charlie Hall. I'm speaking on behalf of the American Kennel Club and the responsible dog owners and breeders in Philadelphia who share the same concerns as the Kennel Club of Philadelphia. We share your goal of reducing shelter overcrowding and improving animal welfare. We recognize the serious challenges facing Act Philly. However, we respectfully urge Council to table Bill 250989 rather than move it forward as written. The bill applies a blanket 3-year moratorium that would primarily impact responsible hobby breeders who are not contributing to the shelter intake. It does little to address truly irresponsible operators. Supporters suggest small breeders can simply obtain a Pennsylvania kennel license, but state only requires licensing when 26 or more dogs are held or transferred in a year. Hobby breeders never approach that number, and the system was designed for large kennels, not families raising 1 litter in their home. Requiring licensing would also create practical problems, including zoning conflicts, significant new burdens on Pennsylvania Bureau of Dog Law Enforcement, and hundreds of new inspections a year that could be required with no resources to conduct them. No data has been presented showing that responsible Philadelphia breeders are supplying dogs to ACT. It's specific individuals are causing problems. The answer is targeted enforcement and not shutting everyone down. Rather than rushing a 3-year moratorium, we urge Council to table Bill 250989 briefly and convene a stakeholders group. Per the bill, temporary moratorium on dog breeding is a targeted measure intended to address the emergency conditions while considering and adopting permanent resolutions. The bill does not take effect until 90 days. Let's use those 90 days to come up with those solutions. Philadelphia deserves solutions that work in practice, not on paper. Thank you for the opportunity to submit my testimony.
Adam, you have 2 minutes. State your name for the record, please. Adam Goldman. Good morning, members of council. My name is Adam Goldman. I'm director of the Philadelphia Unemployment Project. I'm here today to testify in support of Councilmember Landau's resolution commending the PA General Assembly for including the working Pennsylvanians tax credit in this year's state budget. With more and more Pennsylvanians struggling to make ends meet, having a state version of the Earned Income Tax Credit will help hundreds of thousands of residents across the Commonwealth put food on the table. I'd also like to mention that Philadelphia already has a local version of this program, but it's barely used, with less than 5% of eligible residents getting it last year. This is because the process is unnecessarily complicated, requiring residents to first apply and be approved for a separate, more restrictive state tax forgiveness program. It also doesn't allow for a refund of the entire wage tax. With hardworking Pennsylvanians and Philadelphians struggling to get by, every dollar we can put back in their pockets helps. To fix this, we should tie the city wage tax refund to the new Working Pennsylvanians tax credit and work with the state to automate and streamline the process. Until every Philadelphian receives these dollars back who's eligible, we're doing them a huge disservice. This really is a no-brainer. The program is there. Let's just make it work for everyone. Thank you.
Once again, will Samantha Craven please make your way toward the podium?
Madam Chair, members and guests, I rise to address 241070 and 241056. It feels silly that I should stand before you this morning as people beyond the hall who have elected the members sat before them in front of the rail to put their best interests of the people before themselves will be looking at such a resolution. When people are losing their jobs at an alarming rate, when we are creating resolutions that amount to job security for politicians, with an election year ahead of us, what are we doing? The proposal to remove Resign to Run rule asks us to weaken one of Philadelphia's clearest ethical guardrails. This rule exists for a reason. It prevents misuse of offices, reduces incumbency advantage, it eliminates divided loyalty between campaigning and governing. It ensures officials cannot use the city staff for public visibility as companion tools. It keeps taxpayer-funded and time focused on taxpayer-funded work. Most importantly, it protects the public trust. We know the argument, other governments allow it. Have you watched the news lately? I don't know if you've seen other governments and how they operate. I don't know if you're paying attention, but this dog won't hunt as an argument. I don't know if the chamber recalls this, but voters in Philadelphia have already spoken. In 2007, in 2014, they rejected eliminating this rule by clear margins. In 2020, the resolution was pulled before it reached the ballot box. That is not ambiguity, friends. That is public will. Good governance is not about legality, it is about perception. The public must trust that the office you occupy is not a campaign infrastructure. Members, now that I have properly put your panties into a bunch, let me offer you a compromise. I would rather pay every city officer who resigns to run a transition compensation and greatest thanks for the legislative work, noting that if they lose, they face what every American faces when changing jobs: uncertainty. Public office is not a safety net, it is a public trust. This is not a hard one. Philadelphia has told you no, not once, not twice, not thrice. Don't make them do it again.
Thank you. State your name for the record, please. State your name for the record.
Hi, I'm Samantha Craven. Good afternoon, Council President and members. My name is Sammy Craven. My main emphasis on Bill 250989 needing to be passed is due to the significant impact it will have on the overcrowding issue at Act Philly, this city's only open intake shelter that has euthanized over 2,000 innocent souls since 2024 to now, simply due to lack of space and time. For the past several years, I have been deeply involved in reducing euthanasia for space at Act Philly, not as a spectator, but as someone actively moving animals towards life outcomes. I've designed and distribute free shareable graphics highlighting Act Philly's timestamped dogs, encourage outreach citizens to use their voice at meetings such as this, promoted posts I make on social media, and build a network of over 80 life-saving rescues and adoption groups, including 30 across the tri-state area. Through a consistent targeted outreach, these posts regularly reach over 1,000 across tri-state area, and with consistent targeted outreach throughout a week-long campaign, they reach up to 20,000 people. So these views translate directly into rescue pools, foster placements, and adoptions. And I personally have adopted and transported from there. This bill is targeted, temporarily, and strategic. By pausing certain commercial breeding and transfers, it reduces intake pressure, gives existing animals more time to find homes, and prevents healthy adoptable dogs from being killed simply because they arrive at the wrong moment. Philly's shelter crisis spills across state lines. As a New Jersey resident, I clearly see every day how New Jersey adopters, rescue, transports, and foster networks are already absorbing Philly's overflow, meaning Philly's policy decisions already have affected New Jersey residents. Many of the adopters, rescue, transporters keep these animals alive from New Jersey and beyond. Though I may live there, I work there and see the crisis every day in Philly. That's why the city Delaware is a no-state kill as long as other countries. So if Philly can't get on board, then I don't know what the excuse is. You're one of the biggest cities and influential cities in the county. So voting yes is what needs to be done, because the animals don't have a voice, but you do.
Will Jonathan Stein, John McAuley, Lynn Landis, Elaine Petrosian, and Marie Marianakis please make your way to the podium?
Good morning, everyone. I'm Jonathan Stein. I'm the former Executive Director and General Counsel at Community Legal Services and a former member of the City Tax Reform Commission in 2002, appointed by the City Council President at that time. I'm here to support the resolution of Councilwoman Rue Landau's, her resolution on the adoption for the first time in history of the state earned income tax credit, which joins the 50-year-old federal EITC. And I'm here to really pinpoint the fact that this City Council has an extraordinary opportunity to revisit the current city ordinance providing for a wage tax credit or refund. The last time Council addressed that ordinance in 2020 with Councilman Alan Dome and others, a number of people in this hall today, the reforms were adopted unanimously. And every time this bill has come up in the past, it got unanimous support by City Council. And what you have before you is a bill introduced by Councilwoman Kendra Brooks and other co-sponsors in the hall today that would revisit this ordinance, which is simply not working. Fewer than 5% of low-income working people, full-time working people, get this wage tax credit. That is 95% of eligible people in the city don't get it because it's tied to the state special tax forgiveness provision, which has a very low arbitrary eligibility level, and the full wage tax refund is not there because the PICA portion is not allowed. So this bill would address these impediments to this wage tax credit ordinance that we already have. The principle you should keep in mind is that our tax system should not be driving low-income people into deeper poverty. And that's what the regressive wage tax does today. And I encourage you to revisit this bill, have hearings on it, and adopt its contents. Thank you very much.
You have 2 minutes. State your name for the record, please. Thank you. Good morning, everybody. My name is John McAuley. Once again, I'm with a grassroots organization called Flip Philly Red. We are here to bring you something different because you've been voting Democrat for the mayor's office for the past 70 years. If I'm supposed to be excited about a state tax credit for $240, then that's what the average would be. The max would be $805, but the average per person would be $240. I'm supposed to be excited about that. We're supposed to give the General Assembly a pat on the back for this state credit. Stacey Garrity is running for governor. This should be a wash. This should be easy. While you guys continue to get rich, continue to get money, to continue to advance, yes, I'm looking at you, while you continue to advance in your careers, and we should supposed to be happy about a whopping $240. If you want to help us out, then champion eliminating property taxes. That's something that Republicans, Democrats, and Independents can all get on board with. While this erratic, crazy governor continues to increase spending by $3.5 billion, we're struggling out here. So I'm supposed to be excited about $240, that's what the average should be, when he continues to spend taxpayer money, millions of dollars, on his stupid TikTok videos. And y'all don't say anything about that. I'm supposed to be excited about $240 while the Philadelphia parking authorities made it impossible to park down here in Center City. You got the bike lane mafia down here that's made it impossible to park down here in Center City. You got Comrade Mayor Sherelle Parker, who's implemented her Soviet Union $2 billion home plan that we're gonna have to pay back, that our children is gonna have to pay back over time. You look at me like I'm crazy, but $800 million in bonds borrowed that the taxpayers will have to pay back. So while I'm supposed to be excited about $240, when you got stupid 25-mile-per-hour speed limits on Broad Street, I'm supposed to be excited about that? We're not giving pats on the back for that. Thank you for your attention to this matter.
Good morning. I'm Lynn Landis of SafeStreetsPhilly.org and Philly's Republican Network. I support the resolution to lock up commercial dumpsters. Our local civic association was told by the police that this regulation would hopefully deter the homeless population from using dumpsters to live on the streets. However, most of our local homeless people are seriously mentally disabled and/or drug addicted and must be ordered by a court into secure facilities in order to receive the care that they require for the safety of both themselves and the public. To that end, President Trump has signed an executive order to restore mental facilities across America. After decades of failed policies by both Democrats and Republicans that have left the mentally disabled and drug addicted living on our streets. We request that the City Council support President Trump in this endeavor. On a different subject, I and many other Philadelphians support common sense efforts by City Council to direct our waste towards recycling and storage, not incinerators and landfills, both of which are toxic to public health and a waste of valuable resources. In fact, the Solid Waste Disposal Act of 1976 requires that states develop and implement plans to maximize recycling and minimize waste. But that act has been largely ignored by both Democrats and Republicans. In the 1990s, I was very involved in the zero waste movement and helped to develop state legislation to create disposal bans on waste streams. But that bill failed due to the opposition of both Democrats and Republicans. Several decades later, hopefully these laws and efforts will stand a better chance of success with both parties. Please go to my website, zerowasteamerica.org, to learn more. Thank you.
My name is Elaine Petrosian, and I am rising in support of Councilman Young's Bill 250988, which is an zoning overlay in certain parts of the 5th Council District to provide overnight respite and relief to neighbors and commercial corridors from relentless 24-hour-a-day, 7-day-a-week operation of mini marts, in air quotes, that are operating as smoke shops, which in reality are selling oftentimes selling unlicensed and unregulated intoxicating substances. So I rise in support of that bill. I want to say also that as a neighborhood volunteer, neighborhood committee person, and stalwart member of our civic association in the Spring Garden section, adjacent to the North Broad Street corridor, this is an issue that is affecting many, many parts of the city. It will not be solved by diligent and a patchwork of zoning overlays, which is why I also want to say I look forward to and I thank Kathy Gilmore Richardson for her leadership on holistic approaches to this new threat to our commercial corridors and the hearts of our neighborhoods. I also look forward to this body exercising oversight, meaningful oversight of the executive branch of government. And because this body can make the laws, but cannot enforce them. So I look forward to those times, and I want to say thank you to everyone for taking this very seriously.
Will Robert Gray, Jessica Graff, Devin Cairo Rodriguez, Vanessa Raymond Garcia, and Ian Griffin please make your way to the podium?
Hi, my name is Marie Marinakis. I wanted to thank the council members and attendees for the opportunity to speak. I have volunteered at ACT Philly for the past 12 years, and I am here to support the moratorium on puppy breeding, bill number 250989. I would like to invite everyone who either supports or opposes this bill to actually visit ACT Philly and see the scope of the problem for yourself. Last Sunday, I did a kennel count, came up with 117 large dogs, 105 pit bulls, 2 German shepherds, 1 husky, 3 mastiffs, 1 Rottweiler, 1 lab, 2 terrier mixes, 1 cocker spaniel, and 1 collie mix. The scope of this problem is enormous, and the suffering goes well beyond just the animals. The kennel staff, I think, has the most difficult job. The young men and women in this entry-level position are required to feed, walk, and clean kennels for the 20 to 30 dogs that ACT Philly takes in daily. If they are still at the shelter at the end of 3 weeks, dogs are time-stamped. The lucky ones are adopted, fostered, or pulled by rescue groups. The kennel attendants then walk remaining dogs to a room at the back of the shelter and restrain them while vet techs administer the lethal injection. Afterwards, the attendants take the lifeless bodies to the shelter's freezer, and they are later removed for cremation. I ask everyone, how would you feel if you had to do this job? I think I'm almost out of time, but thank you for Council Member Cindy Bass for this important legislation. Thank you for your time.
Good afternoon, Philadelphia. I am here today to speak on several issues. There's a lot at stake today.
Excuse me, please state your name for the record.
I will state my name, which is Robert Gray. And as I was saying, there's a lot at stake today, Philadelphia. A lot of our individual freedoms are being infringed upon, and I want to make comments in reference to several bills on the docket today. 251098, 251070, 251056, 250843, 250889, and 251097. So, as I said, my name is Robert Gray, and I am here today to speak against legislation that, while well-intentioned, only ultimately infringes upon our individual rights, misuses taxpayer resources, and expands bureaucratic power under the guise of social justice. Let me be clear from the outset. We all love our puppies here in this city. Protecting animals from abuse is a worthy and necessary goal. No reasonable person disputes that. But what we must dispute is how we attempt to do it. This legislation proposes restricting breeding unless individuals obtain a specific license. Licenses that overwhelmingly benefit the elite, certified, and commercially favored breeding institutions. Organizations like the American Kennel Club and Westminster may dominate the conversation, but they do not represent the full reality of animal ownership in the city. Philadelphia is a city of mixed breed dogs, pit mixes, bully breeds, red-nosed pits, dogs that exist not because of profit, but because of natural circumstance and responsible ownership. I want to put a face to that reality. This is my dog, Kilo, a red-nosed pit bull, and he's a champion in my eyes. He was raised responsibly. I also want to say that this adoption is biased and prejudicial because I've been to the ACCT and they've also decided what dogs go where, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what they want to do, is essentially control more of our freedoms. And I thank you for your time today. Let's support more freedom and not ordinances that waste taxpayer dollars.
State your name for the record. You have 2 minutes. Okay.
Hi, my name is Jessica Groff. I'm the president of Philly Bully Team. We are a nonprofit dog rescue here in Philadelphia. We work directly with ACCT Philly. We also do work with the police and take owner surrenders when we are able to, which is not very often because we're always full. I fully support Bill 250989. As somebody that has a front row seat to the overpopulation crisis in Philadelphia, I think that putting a temporary ban on the selling of puppies is a responsible and common sense approach to a problem in the city that is only getting worse year after year. We have a foster network of over 100 homes, and even with all of our resources, we are unable to keep up with the amount of dogs in need, not only from ACCT, but from citizens of the city who want to surrender their dogs. Many of these dogs were purchased from somebody who intentionally bred them for the purpose of profit and not for temperament or genetic stability. A few of these dogs are also registered with the AKC per the owner's claim, yet they are thrown away like trash regularly with no accountability of their well-being by the club they are registered to. The owners will often offer their AKC paperwork with their surrender request, to which we decline because honestly it doesn't mean a whole lot. Many of these dogs were also born with painful and heartbreaking genetic deformities that require the rescue to spend thousands of dollars on surgeries to improve quality of life or even save their life. Sadly, those surgeries aren't always enough, and we have lost a lot of dogs due to birth defects or neglect that would be avoidable with responsible breeding. Just last week, a breeder reached out to me to ask for assistance with rehoming his 3-day-old puppies because they hadn't sold fast enough for him. We obviously said no to that. I've also discovered one of my own dogs, who we found abandoned on the street, is related to 15 other dogs that have come through ACCT that we brought into our rescue as well through DNA testing. I want to ask you to vote as if these dogs' lives are depending on it, because they are. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Devin Rodriguez Cairo. I work at Hand to Paw, a youth development and animal welfare organization, and previously worked at ACCT Philly. I have seen firsthand the consequences of backyard breeding in our city. For years, irresponsible breeding has contributed directly to overcrowding in our shelters, increased strain on our city resources, and public safety concerns. I've worked extensively in canine behavior. When dogs are bred without regard for temperament, health, or early socialization, we see the consequences: fear, reactivity, bite incidents, the spread of preventable diseases like parvo, and ultimately dogs struggling to succeed in homes. These challenges don't exist in a vacuum. They impact families, neighbors, public safety across our city because profit is prioritized over responsibility. Those on the front lines of animal welfare know the pain of losing a dog because of overcrowding, especially after using every ounce of effort to find that dog placement. It looks like sitting on the floor of a euthanasia room with a healthy, happy dog who did nothing wrong and watching their life end simply because there is no kennel space. I personally cannot count the number of times I have held dogs who should have been in loving homes, whose only fault was being one of too many. I have heard the objections raised by breeders today. This bill contains an exemption for licensed kennels, and despite what has been suggested, anyone can obtain a state kennel license, regardless of how many dogs they produce. This legislation does not target responsible licensed breeders. It creates accountability for those operating without oversight. We cannot adopt our way out of a supply problem. We must address the root cause. This is a necessary step towards accountability, responsible breeding practices, and reducing the preventable loss of life in our shelters. This is about compassion, public safety, and creating a city where animals are not treated as disposable. Thank you.
Once again, will Vanessa Raymond Garcia please make your way to the podium, and also Darian Johnson Manny, Ryan Harris, Obona Higgins, James Buck III, and Reverend Dr. Sugarman Kershaw.
Vanessa Raymond Garcia. Good morning, Council President Johnson and all council members, and thank you for the opportunity to speak today. Sure. My name is Vanessa Raymond Garcia, and I am here to voice support for Bill 250980. I come representing Regional Housing Legal Services as their senior policy analyst. RHLS is a nonprofit legal aid firm working alongside communities in the fight to create and protect safe, affordable homes. We provide legal representation for groups serving those with low incomes and advocate for policy changes. Some of our current and past Philadelphia clients include New Kensington Community Development Corporation, Habitat for Humanity, and the Philadelphia Community Land Trust. We published a report late last year examining institutional investment in single-family homes, multifamily properties, and manufactured home communities across Pennsylvania. That research documented what many Philadelphians already feel every day. Large-scale, absentee, and LLC-shielded property owners are reshaping our housing market in ways that harm renters, aspiring homeowners, and entire neighborhoods. No property owner, especially those operating from out of state or behind a web of LLCs, should be able to avoid accountability for tenants or to the city. When landlords hide behind anonymous or unverifiable contact information, the people who suffer are the tenants who cannot get repairs, the neighbors who cannot report ongoing safety issues, and the city departments that cannot enforce basic codes. Requiring a verifiable physical address and a designated local agent is a basic expectation of responsible property ownership. If someone profits from Philadelphia's housing market, they must also maintain open lines of communication and meet their legal obligations. Thank you, Councilmember Phillips, for your leadership on this issue, and I urge Council to pass Ordinance 250980. Thank you.
Yeah, my name is Ian Griffiths. 40-year resident of Philadelphia and a 10-year volunteer at ACT. ACT came in existence in 2012, and every single dog that has left ACT since 2012, every single dog that's left the PSPCA, every single dog that's left rescues like Philly Bully Team, every single dog that's left doggy-style pet stores have all been spayed and neutered in the last all those years. So not a single dog has left any of those facilities that was able to breed. And yet sometime this year, sometime in April of this year, 26, ACT will have brought in its 100,000th dog in only 14 years of existence. Now think of how many 100,000 dogs are. The notion that there's 100,000 Philadelphians driving to Lancaster to buy dogs is simply ridiculous. I think that it's pretty crystal clear who the villains are in this piece. In 2020, it was a catastrophic year for humans, but it was a great, fantastic year for our dog mates, mostly pit bulls in Philadelphia. With only 4,000 dogs, ACT Philly was able to manage that population, so they didn't do a single euthanasia for space. They didn't have to do a single timestamp other than for medical emergencies. For 2026 now, they have 22 dogs coming in daily. They have to clear 20 kennels daily for space. Part of that is they have to timestamp 90 dogs a month. Thank you.
Greetings, Philadelphia City Council. Today, I, Darian Johnson DeVoe, stand before you 8 months pregnant with immense hope and gratitude. For today, we are here in celebration of something truly special to come, 215 Day of Giving. See, I go hard because my life is dependent on it. Because soon come, I too will have to raise a son in this city, the same city that once raised me, from neighborhood drill teams to community block parties. And like many of those you see behind me, I have always been surrounded by people who have made something out of nothing. And it was because of the work of my neighbors, the surrounding organizations organizations of my community that I am who I am today. And it's also a testament to exactly why initiatives like 215 Day of Giving must exist, because we exist and our work matters. True to the radical organizing tradition of Black communities, especially here in Philadelphia, where government and businesses fall short, the people step up to meet the need. And with over 3,000 documented nonprofits in our city, but only 81% of funding going to the top 5% of organizations, it says there's work to be done. When 2/3 of the organizations in our city operate on less than 90 days of cash reserves and don't know how they will sustain their programming, it says there's work to be done. When the city of Philadelphia currently stands as the second biggest poorest city in our nation and 1/3 of families live below the poverty line, it says there's work to be done. So we say thank you to City Council, thank you to Councilmember Thomas for recognizing this day, and to the endless organizations doing the work in our city, including We Golf Now, Hunting Park Coalition, Power Circle Mentors, Hey Mommy Incorporation, Learning Institute of Philadelphia, Positive Youth Outlet, Bosses Give Back, People Philly of Hope, the Epilogues Project, and These Kids Construction. We see you and we invite you to join the celebration. Text 215-DAY to 444-321 or visit 215dayofgiving.com to give and get behind the work of the organizations doing the work in our city every single day. Thank you.
I'm a little nervous to follow up behind that. My name is Emmanuel Manny 215 Clark. I hate to speak on myself in this way because I hate to sound self-aggrandizing, but I believe the mission of 215 Day in the setting is permitting and fit for me to speak in this way. I stand here today as a young man growing up in the city who at the age of 21 years old decided to fill the gap, right? To look at it and say, everybody that I seen give back to the community was 35 and older with a suit on, right? I never seen nobody in their 20s really step up and do this in my community, right? I stand here today, 8 years later, as a decorated community leader from different facets, from council people like Jamie Gauthier, right? And I have beautiful relationships. I'm going to run through my time mentioning all of you guys. But also as this year's NFL Inspired Change Maker Award winner from the Philadelphia Eagles, and the youngest since the beginning of the award to get that award and that honor. But also I stand here today as an organization currently with no budget, who does the work every day, who have a team of people that works with me that I have to ask them to do stuff for free, and then sometime I gotta bear with them because I can't hire, right? This is what we represent. So when y'all see me on the Instagram promoting and for 215 Day of Giving, know that I represent all of these organizations that need this funding to be distributed to them in a proper manner. Thank you for your support.
How y'all doing today? My name is Ryan Harris. I'm the founder and CEO of nonprofit organization As I Plant the Seed. And I think I can speak on behalf of what we got going on today for the 215 Day of Giving. Because if y'all do not know, I'm the one that was standing on Broad Street that people was calling crazy. I stood outside for 2.5 days and fasting and praying until we raised $30,000 to get our own building in our community center that we offer 13 free programs without no funding. We've been doing that for 13 years and able to provide resources and a safe hub for the community around us and beyond. So today is a very, very big deal, and we able to open this. I'm sorry. And we are able to, meet the needs of the people that we serve today with this resolution. Open that for me. Yeah, so we were able to meet the needs with this resolution. So thank you, City Council Isaiah Thomas. We appreciate you for presenting this resolution. This resolution supports a model rooted in stewardship and governance. We are committed to transparency, lawful distribution, and capacity building so that no organization that is behind us remains dependent, but instead grows stronger through structured support. So we appreciate y'all for getting back behind this behind this resolution, and being able to support us in a major way, because the smaller nonprofits is putting a lot of work on the ground, and a lot of times we get unnoticed. A lot of times we get overlooked when it comes to funding, but we able to steward and be able to be good stewards over the funding that we are able to get, and now we are building that capacity within the organizations that's with us. So we appreciate y'all.
Will Obona Higgins, James Buck III, Reverend Dr. Susanna Kershaw, Reverend Michael Major, please make your way to the podium.
My name is Obona Higgins. I'm a fourth-generation chattel slavery survivor. Today I rise regarding Resolution 241070. This is not a technical adjustment. This is a constitutional issue. Resolution 241070 creates two unequal classes of elected officials in Philadelphia. Class A, city council members, would be permitted to run for another office without resigning. They could retain their seats if they lose. They gain a structural political advantage. Class B, every other elected official in this city must resign to run. They cannot return to their seat if they lose. They remain bound by the charter's accountability requirements. That is a clear intra-government classification. Under the Equal Protection Clause, classifications must at minimum satisfy rational basis review. But when legislation grants a political privilege to the very officials voting on it, courts examine it more carefully because it raises concerns about self-dealing, incumbent enrichment, voter dilution, and reduced public accountability. Even under rational basis review, self-protection is not a legitimate governmental interest. If resign to run is truly unfair, then fix it for all elected officials. Do not carve out a special exception for yourselves. Equal protection is not selective, it is universal. Resolution 241070 fails that principle. Obona Higgins, over and out.
Chair recognizes Councilman Isaiah Thomas.
Thank you, Council President. I just want to thank everybody who provided public comment on resign to run. First and foremost, we're not running that bill today, so I just want to make sure that that's clear. And secondly, just so that the listening public understands, resign to run as amended out of committee does not only apply to city council. It applies to every city elected official, not just legislators, but row officers as well too. Every city elected official besides the mayor. So I just want to provide clarity, not just for the people who are in chambers today, but the people who are listening online. And I also want to thank members of the public for commenting on the bill, because it shows that people are paying attention to the work that's being done. So thank you, Council President. Thank you, colleagues. And sorry to interrupt, Council President.
Hello, my name is James Buck III, and I greet you in the name of the one who was, the one who is, and the one who is surely to come, my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I go to school here in Philadelphia, St. Joe's Prep, and I am a senior, and I have recently fully committed to Penn State University. Well, I will go. I will go there, and I will earn my major in business, and for the rest of my life, continue to minister through music at my church, the Grace Baptist Church of Germantown, which is the shepherd. My dad, the Reverend Dr. James Henry Buck Jr., preaches there. I am involved in our youth, and I am a Boy Scout there, Boy Scouts of America, and where I am still waiting to hear back so I can receive my Eagle Scout rank, which is the highest rank in Boy Scouts. As my church, on behalf of my church, we are a church in the community seeking to win the community's heart, and we have a vision there, and I hope that that place will not only just be a house of worship, but will also be a refuge for people who are looking for help. Thank you.
Good morning. My name is Reverend Dr. Suzanne Kershaw, and I serve as an associate minister at the Grace Baptist Church of Germantown. I've been a member there for 50 years, and during that time, I can ditto what my brother in the Lord has said, in the heart of the community, seeking ever to win the community's heart. Our journey is one that has reached over generations. We have Boy Scouts who became Eagle Scouts, as he spoke about, but we have over 70, I believe, Eagle Scouts in this country of African American descent. But what I want to tell you is that we're not just a church opening up on Sunday morning, but we serve the community. We feed the poor. We do things that uplift. We have Bible study, but not just Bible study to sit, but Bible study to go out into the community, be with our neighbors. We pray with our community. We help our community. We also do mission work, home and abroad. Here's some of the ladies here who do work for Uganda. We sew, make dresses, make clothes for those in other places, but also we do those things every day that you see. We have a pastor who visits the sick, prays for the sick. He reaches out to other people. We have a first lady who works with our women, supports our women. We do the work of not just opening the doors on Sunday, but we touch lives to change lives, that God may be glorified, that those who walk this earth may walk in dignity. Thank you.
Chair recognizes Councilman Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. I just wanted to say that we offered a resolution this morning recognizing two of our great pastors in the Northwest in honor of their commitment to community and civic leadership. And as we celebrate Black History Month, we recognize that the clergy had a lot to do with the civil rights movement and with Black history in this country. So I just didn't want to let it be lost that I know that we had some presentations from Grace Baptist Church, but that Reverend Buck, we wanted to recognize also Reverend Buck and have him say a few words as the pastor and the honoree this morning from Grace Baptist Church of Germantown.
If I may, Mr. President, thank you so much. Thank you so much, Councilwoman Bass. Thank all of you who are present here today. It's so good to see democracy in action. I stand on the shoulders of those who have come before me for 138 years here in this city, persons and pastors whose names you may be familiar with, Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Sr., who's the father of Reverend Dr. Jeremiah A. Wright Jr., who pastored at Grace Baptist Church of Germantown. Also, the Reverend Dr. G. Daniel Jones. And then my tenure started as the 10th pastor. But I could not be who I am if it were not for many of the members at Grace Baptist Church of Germantown, and equally the community that we're sitting in for 138 plus years. It was at the Kaiser Estate in 1886 that we had the privilege of coming into fruition. And so now, sitting in the community where we are now, being led and driven by a wonderful council person, one whom I am unapologetically proud to call a good friend and a leader in our community. As our persons shared this morning, much of the ministries that are taking place, we seek to even approach it in an economic stance. We do seek to do housing. We are in the process of opening up restaurants to hire returning citizens, disabled vets, and troubled teenagers. And so looking at the economic landscape and the geography of where we are, we seek, as my son said, to really have a profound effect on our community as being a church in the heart of the community, seeking ever to win the community's heart. Thank you so much, Councilwoman, for this privilege and this honor, and we look forward to working with you many more times in this opportunity. And thank you so much to all of you who are serving this morning.
Like my brother and my friend. My name is Mike Major, the pastor at Zion Baptist Church of Philadelphia. And like my brother, Dr. Buck, I want to thank Councilwoman Bass for this opportunity and this honor, for being with you this morning. Thank you, City Council, as well. I want to thank my son, Michael Jr. is over there as well, and Zion members, members of Call to Serve, colleagues and friends who are here, and a host of folks, family and colleagues online as well. The work that we do here at Zion and the Call to Serve is not theory. If you want to see a living, breathing example of what is possible, look at me. Grew up around the corner from Zion. The work under Reverend Sullivan happened, and I'm a byproduct of that work. And so our efforts are really to replicate my story on scale. So thank you this morning for the honor, and may God continue to bless you. One note. As my sister back there, Leslie Smallwood Lewis knows, I'm called to serve. We're trying to build a building. It's now $20 million. And so I want Mr. Opportunity to say, we need money. And so, Council, we thank you for your support up to this point. Well, we still need some more money. So when we come knock on your door, please say yes. Thank you so much.
There are no further names for public comment. Council President.
That concludes today's public comment period. We will now consider the bills and resolutions on the second reading and final passage calendar. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 260086?
A resolution commending the Pennsylvania General Assembly for including the Working Pennsylvanians tax credit in the 2025-2026 budget, a crucial new tool to provide essential resources and lift families out of poverty across the Commonwealth.
Chair recognizes Councilman Ru Landau for a motion regarding resolution number 260086.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that resolution number 260086 be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of resolution number 260089?
A resolution calling on the General Assembly of the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania to establish a comprehensive regulatory framework and conduct a formal safety and labor impact review of driverless rideshare vehicles operating in Philadelphia and throughout Pennsylvania.
The chair recognizes Councilman Jim Harity for a motion regarding resolution number 260089.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded. The resolution number 260089 be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it. The motion carries. The resolution is adopted. Will the clerk please read the title of bill number 250988?
An ordinance amending Chapter 9-600 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Service and Other Businesses to add business hour restrictions in the 5th Councilmatic District and amending Section 14-529 of the Philadelphia Code entitled 5th District Overlay District to restrict certain commercial uses and make other related changes, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill having been read on 2 different days, the question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Phillips.
Aye.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson.
Aye.
Councilmember Gautier.
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas.
Aye.
Councilmember Jones.
Aye.
Councilmember Landau.
Aye.
Councilmember Losada.
Aye.
Councilmember Young.
Aye.
Councilmember Harity.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Rourke.
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll.
Aye.
Councilmember O'Neill.
Aye.
Councilmember Squilla.
Aye.
Councilmember Bass.
Aye.
Councilmember Ahmed.
Aye.
And Council President Johnson.
Aye, the ayes are
16.
16. The nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of bill number 250989?
An ordinance amending Title 10 of the Philadelphia Code entitled Regulation of Individual Conduct and Activity by adding a new section to impose a temporary moratorium on breeding and transfer of puppies, all under certain terms and conditions.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion.
Thank you, Mr. President. I would like to offer an amendment to bill number 250989. A copy of the amendment has been circulated to all members of council, and I move for the adoption of the amendment.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the amendment to bill number 250989 be adopted. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the bill has been amended. This bill will be placed on the final passage calendar for our next session of council. Will the clerk please read the title of Bill number 251031?
An ordinance repealing in its entirety Bill number 241055, approved December 23, 2024, entitled An Ordinance to Amend the Philadelphia Zoning Maps by changing the zoning designations of certain areas of land located within an area bounded by Packer Avenue, 7th Street, Pattison Avenue, and Darien Street, to amend Title 14 of the Philadelphia Code by adding Section 14-541 entitled Packer Avenue Overlay District and making other related changes, all under certain terms and conditions.
This bill had been read on 2 different days. The question now is, shall the bill pass finally? Chief Clerk, please call the roll.
Councilmember Phillips?
Aye.
Councilmember Gilmore Richardson?
Aye.
Councilmember Gautier?
Aye.
Councilmember Thomas?
Aye.
Councilmember Jones?
Aye.
Councilmember Landau?
Aye.
Councilmember Losada?
Aye.
Councilmember Young?
Aye.
Councilmember Harity?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Rourke?
Aye.
Councilmember Driscoll?
Aye.
Councilmember O'Neill?
Aye.
Councilmember Squilla?
Aye.
Councilmember Bass?
Aye.
Councilmember Ahmed?
Aye.
And Council President Johnson?
Aye, the ayes are 16 and nays are 0. Majority of all members having voted in the affirmative, the bill passes. Will the clerk please read any additional resolutions on today's calendar?
A privileged resolution celebrating and recognizing February 15th as 215 Day of Giving, an annual observance that honors Philadelphia's identity while strengthening and highlighting the role of nonprofit organizations servicing under-resourced and underserved communities, introduced by Councilmember Thomas.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Thomas for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing the observance of the holy month of Ramadan in the city of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Jones.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Jones for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you. I move for its adoption.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution authorizing the Committee on Housing, Neighborhood Development, and the Homeless to hold hearings to examine the Office of Property Assessment, its assessment methodology, appeals process, and the impact of rising property assessments and property taxes on Philadelphia residents, introduced by Councilmember Losada.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Kessler-Zada for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. The Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution authorizing a joint hearing between the Committee on Public Safety and the Committee on Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Affairs to examine the presence of firearms in public recreation spaces, the enforcement of existing laws, and strategies to reduce gun violence in parks and playgrounds across the city of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Losada.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Kessler-Zada for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution honoring and recognizing Reverend Michael A. Major Sr. during Black History Month for his extraordinary leadership, faith-driven service, and unwavering commitment to the renewal, restoration, revitalization of the Nicetown Tioga community, and celebrating his installation as senior pastor at Zion Baptist Church, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed on behalf of Councilmember Bass.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of this resolution and congratulate Mr. Major, Reverend Major, in advance on his installation.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. The chair recognizes Councilmember Anthony Phillips.
I thought that was the last one, Council.
Okay. Trying to get the jump on Member Jones. I see that. See, Jones, how you doing? Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing and honoring February 20th, 2026 as Love Your Pet Day in the City of Philadelphia, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed on behalf of Councilmember Bass.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of this resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution honoring Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck Jr. for his service, visionary ministry, and contributions to the community as senior pastor of Grace Baptist Church of Germantown in recognition of Black History Month, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed on behalf of Councilmember Bass.
Very fitting acknowledgement, Member Bass. The Chair recognizes Member Bass for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. I move for the adoption of this very important resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. The Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution.
A privileged resolution honoring Bishop J. Lewis Felton from the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ for his extraordinary lifetime of service, leadership, and lasting contributions to the spiritual, civic, and social well-being of the City of Philadelphia during Black History Month, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed on behalf of Councilmember Bass.
Chair recognizes Councilmember Cindy Bass for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Mr. President. We move for the adoption of this resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Those opposed, the ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
A privileged resolution recognizing February 17th, 2026 as the Lunar New Year and celebrating the cultural and historical significance of Philadelphia's Asian American and Pacific Islander communities, introduced by Councilmember Ahmed.
Chair recognizes Councilwoman Dr. Nina Ahmed for a motion on the resolution.
Thank you, Council President. I move for the adoption of the resolution.
It has been moved and properly seconded that the resolution be adopted. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it, and the resolution is adopted. Will the Chief Clerk please read the title of the next resolution?
There are no further resolutions, Council President.
Thank you very much. As we prepare for speeches, I just want to take a moment to acknowledge next week we'll be celebrating the birthday of our Majority Leader, Councilwoman Catherine Gilmore Richardson. Are there any speeches on behalf of the minority? The Chair recognizes Councilmember Nicholas O'Rourke.
Thank you, Mr. President. Really brief today. It is very exciting to find out that 40 degrees is a whole lot better than 17. I think anybody yesterday was feeling the warmth of God smiling on us, even in the midst of freezing temperatures. There's a big difference in those degrees. It also highlights, I think, if anyone noticed, been riding around, the beginning of the melting process of the ice that seemed to not ever want to go away. And so grateful for that. Today, I just want to comment briefly and say that our office actually submitted a letter to the administration, urging the administration, in light of all that's happened, to actually respect and include DC 33 leadership in all decisions that shape their jobs and their livelihoods. Folks may not know this, but there obviously was a wonderful, I think it makes a lot of sense, idea in terms of bringing those who would otherwise not have some employment the opportunity to do same-day work and pay, to break up the ice and do that work. Unfortunately, as it came to my attention, that there was not communication with the union whose job it is to do that work prior to doing that. And so I just want to urge, as a member of the body, the administration to be mindful, to always first consider the union-trained labor before making such decisions. This was a unique storm, and I don't think anybody can dispute the fact that real leadership called on folks to move urgently. I know I was one of those that wanted to get out of my parking spot and get around, and so I think it's heard and understood that we needed to move to make something shake and happen. And also, can we do that at the same time by respecting the long-term relationship that we've had with DC 33 and honoring their labor and their work prior to making decisions that kind of undermine their power? So again, thank you for the time. I'm also naming this in light of the fact that we, many of us, colleagues and all, went over to Member Bass's district to honor the life of Mr. Sapp, who we honored last week with a moment of silence, a standing moment of silence. And we want his memory to continue to be a blessing. So I think all of these are important things for us to consider, and just want to make sure that we commented on that in light of all that shifting. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Member O'Rourke. Speeches on behalf of the majority. The chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Anthony Phillips.
I just wanted to rise and also just say happy birthday to our incredible majority leader. Her birthday's this Saturday, and she's been a
Valentine's Day.
Valentine's Day. She's been a great help to so many of us on City Council that a lot of us can attest to, and I just want to say happy birthday to you. And also just let you know, all of those in the 9th District, please visit our social media on Phillips DIST9 on Facebook and Instagram. We're having a town hall series across our district, which starts this Tuesday at the Oxford Circle, in Oxford Circle, Castor Gardens, at the Bushrod Library, from 6 to 7:30. We're creating a space for dialogue and communication and for an opportunity to hear from you about what's important to your neighborhood. So please, check out our Instagram and social media. Also, sign up for our newsletters or call our office at 215-686-3454 to learn when the town hall is near you. Thank you so much, Council President.
You're welcome. Chair recognizes Councilmember Curtis Jones.
Thank you so much, Mr. President. Today I rise to support a group of professional nurses, nursing assistants, doctors who work on our eyes down at Wills Eye. I had the privilege of being worked on by them 4 times. First thing I saw when I came out of anesthesia was his wife, and she fed me ginger ale and cookies.
Pause.
And those were the best ginger ale and cookies because you don't get to eat before surgery. But I rise the fact that that institution does so much locally, nationally, and internationally. For the people here on their mission statement, they clearly say that we will turn no patient down based on their ability or inability to pay. That's an amazing mission. The people that go there can go there confidently to get the services that they need. Some of the services they provided in the Middle East, when the young ladies were taking off their hijabs and they were shot in the eye by soldiers so that they could later identify them because of the damage to their eyes. They flew them here to work on their vision for free. It doesn't get much better than that by way of corporate good neighbors. They are fighting not just for their own wages. They are fighting not just because they have management issues, but all they have to do is look down I-95 and see that hostile takeovers by investors are taking over local hospitals. And when a closure closes, it affects Lankenau up here because the overflow, the overcrowding goes right up here. And the quality of service you receive when you go into the emergency room is impacted. So they have a keen eye, no pun intended, on that. We must support them, not just for their individual families. The Squilla family is important to me, but because of all of us. And because you can go there and it's a world-renowned facility producing all of these doctors right in our midst. And we should not let corporate scavengers take it over and sell it off for parts. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you, Member Jones. Very well said. Chair recognizes Councilwoman Cindy Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President. Today I'm introducing amendments to my bill calling for a moratorium on unlicensed breeding to strengthen the language and ensure that all provisions are clear and enforceable. The most significant changes clarifies that accountability rests with bad actors engaging in illegal breeding, not with social media platforms where content may be posted. Our focus is on those violating the laws, and this revision will make that intent explicit. We have listened carefully to advocates on both sides of the issue, and the updated version reflects thoughtful input and a shared commitment to meaningful, workable reform. This bill represents an important step forward in protecting dogs in our city, and we know it is a part of a broader effort to improve animal welfare in the city of Philadelphia. I want to thank everyone who came out today to testify, who contacted our offices, and who worked collaboratively with us to reform this legislation. Your input has made this bill stronger, and it is only fitting that we also recognize and honor February 20th, 2026 as Love Your Pet Day here in Philadelphia. Dogs, cats, birds, other companion animals are more than just pets. They are family. And so we wanted to make that clear as well. Love Your Pet Day is a chance to spend a little extra time walking, playing, or simply sitting beside the animals who you love, who give us so much love. It is also a call to support our local shelters, rescue organizations, and veterinary professionals, and to recommit to responsible, compassionate pet ownership. Let us celebrate the joy pets bring to our city and ensure every animal is treated with care and dignity as they deserve. Now, during Black History Month, we honor the powerful role of church leaders who have played a pivotal part in the civil rights movement, preaching justice from the pulpit, organizing in fellowship halls, and reminding America that equality is a moral calling. Here in Philadelphia, that legacy lives on. Reverend Michael A. Major Sr. continues the historic tradition of Zion Baptist Church, advancing renewal and opportunity in the Nicetown, Tioga neighborhood through faith and community development. Reverend Dr. J. Henry Buck Jr. at Grace Baptist Church of Germantown carries forward a vision of ministry that meets both spiritual and practical needs, expanding education, health access, and economic opportunity. And Bishop J. Lewis Felton of the Mount Airy Church of God in Christ exemplifies decades of servant leadership advocating for justice, education, and civic engagement across our city. These leaders stand in the proud tradition of clergy who have helped the civil rights movement, proving that the Black church is not only a place of worship, but also a force for transformation. This Black History Month, we celebrate their faith, their service, and their enduring impact on Philadelphia, and we say thank you. Thank you, Mr. President.
Thank you. I think you left out. Didn't you leave out Reverend James Buck and Southern Flames Barbecue? Oh. World renowned.
Well, let me speak on that for just a second, if I may. Some of the best Southern food cooking in the city of Philadelphia is through Southern Flames Barbecue, which is currently at the Chestnut Hill Farmers Market, but moving into a location yet to be, we won't put out the actual address until it's actually confirmed, but a location in, I believe, the Germantown section of Philadelphia. So we're very, very, very excited about that, and we'll keep you posted. And hiring folks who are returning citizens from incarceration, helping folks get back on their feet.
All his flowers.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, good job, Member Bass.
Thank you, Mr. President.
And that's the Zion Baptist Church, Broad Street?
The legendary Zion Baptist Church.
Zion.
Yes,
okay.
Absolutely.
Can we give them a round of applause?
Let's give them a round of applause.
Good job, Member Bass. Those that know. Broad and Venango.
Yes.
I'm a Lowell guy. I never really, get them invite, but one day I'll be there.
You're welcome to come up.
Well, congratulations, all seriousness, as we celebrate Black History Month, and it's also in the spirit of our Reverend on our council, Reverend Nicholas O'Rourke as well.
Yes.
The chair recognizes Councilmember Jim Harity.
Thank you, Council President. In support of my union brothers and sisters at Wills Eye, as well as our Penn grad students who are also exercising their right to protest for fair wages and fair treatment. And again, I also, as the chair of labor, sent a letter to the mayor today. I am also a fan of the same-day pay. I think it gives people opportunity, especially those in recovery. But I believe there needs to be dialogue when you are taking work from another union person, especially if you are paying them more than the union person that works every day. So very concerned about that. And then last, just again, please keep Kenneth Kasib Carter in your prayers. He is Senator Street's executive director. He was found unconscious in his home last night. Thank God his wife was able to revive him when she got there by CPR. He was then rushed to Jeans Hospital where he is now. As of late last night, he was still unconscious. He took a bad fall, and they're actually more worried about his head trauma than the heart attack. But please keep my brother in prayer. He's a brother Mason, and he's just a good dude. Thank you.
Thank you, Member Harry. We will definitely keep Kasib in prayer. Very good gentleman. Chair recognizes Councilman Dr. Nina Ahmed.
Thank you, Council President. I first start by wishing our Majority Leader a very happy birthday. May there be cake. I also wanted to thank Councilmember Curtis Jones for the opportunity to co-sponsor the resolution honoring and recognizing the observance of the holy month of Ramadan. It is one of the holiest months in Islam, and I'm very grateful to him for this acknowledgement of the month for over 300,000 people in Philadelphia. I also wanted to speak on the resolution I introduced recognizing February 17th as Lunar New Year in Philadelphia. For a lot of neighbors, Lunar New Year is not a festival in the abstract. It's a family moment. It's checking in on parents and grandparents. It's the food that takes hours to make because that's what love looks like in a lot of our households. It's the reset. It's saying it's a brand new year. Let's try again. Let's do better. Let's be healthier. Let's be kinder. Let's have some luck. This year is the year of the horse. People talk about energy and determination. To me, it's that steady idea of momentum. You keep moving forward even when the year behind you was a lot. And that's something I think the city understands deeply. It's also something we see in the AAPI communities across Philadelphia every day. People are working, building, raising families, caring for relatives, holding on to language and tradition, and still contributing so much to the life of the city. So I thank all my council members for supporting this resolution, and what it says very plainly, we recognize you, we respect you, and we're celebrating with you. Thank you, Council President. I yield back.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Ketty Lozada.
Thank you, Council President. We have heard over the last 2 years about the need to increase the housing stock in the city of Philadelphia. We're hearing today from the governor apparently having conversations about housing. And I believe that before we continue those conversations about development, we need to get our own house in order. And that is why today I introduced a resolution authorizing the Committee on Housing and Neighborhood Development and the homeless to hold hearings on the Office of Property Assessment to examine how property values are assessed, the appeals process, and how rising property taxes are affecting Philadelphians. When a home's value goes up, so do the taxes. While this is a financial burden for residents across Philadelphia, especially seniors and low-income homeowners, it is particularly burdensome in the 7th Council District, where the median income is only $38,000. Many residents in the 7th Council District can barely afford their mortgages, let alone the rising cost of property taxes. For many families, especially older residents or those who on fixed incomes, that can make it hard to stay in their homes. We cannot allow that to happen. In some neighborhoods, home values are increasing significantly because of new development, even though their incomes are not. There is an older couple in my district who have lived in their home for over 30 years. When they first moved in, their property taxes were just a few $100s. Today, they are several $1,000s. Equity in our assessment systems is not optional. It is about fairness in our policies, stability in our neighborhoods, and dignity for all of our residents. I'm really looking forward to hearing in this hearing how the recommendations of a past audit that called for fairness or would have allowed for fairness have actually been put in place, and what we are doing to ensure that those who choose to live in specific neighborhoods can stay in their neighborhoods regardless of the investment that comes into that community. Thank you, Council President.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilmember Rulandau.
Thank you, Council President. Today, my resolution commending the Pennsylvania General Assembly for including the Working Pennsylvania's tax credit in the 2025-26 budget passed, right as we gear up for tax season. I'd like to thank those who came out for comment. These tax credits are some of the greatest anti-poverty tools people have at their disposal. More than 1 million Pennsylvanians are eligible for the Working Pennsylvania tax credit, which will provide $193 million in tax relief for working families this year. The Earned Income Tax Credit, as well as the Child Tax Credit, are putting money back in the pockets of Philadelphians. That can be life-changing money, especially for the 12% of Pennsylvania households that live below the federal poverty level, and another 28% earn above poverty but still struggle to afford basic needs. These credits consistently lift people out of poverty each year, which is increasingly challenging as our city and country endure an unaffordability crisis that is more harmful to the most vulnerable people. I'd also like to extend my deepest condolences to the families who lost their home, recently with the recent ICE raid in Montgomery County that was described by onlookers as a family in shock and a home destroyed after agents broke down the door. This was a visible reminder that Philadelphia and our surrounding counties are already feeling the deep impacts of ICE's reign of terror. Similar raids are happening right here in Philly, and I'm proud that we as a legislative body are speaking out. And finally, I wanted to note the shameful act by the federal government for removing the Rainbow Pride flag from the Stonewall Monument in New York City, the birthplace of what many see as our birthplace of queer rights and the visibility movement across the country. Their attempt to remove queer visibility is short-lived, but the message I want to tell people is that we will not be erased, and we will continue to show our pride 365 days a year, flag or no flag. Thank you.
Thank you. Chair recognizes Councilman Jeffrey J. Young.
Thank you, Mr. President. I want to also acknowledge Mr. Mike Majors. Thank you to my colleague Cindy Bass for recognizing and honoring him again for his work. He's also the president of Call to Serve CDC, which serves the Germantown and Erie commercial corridors right across from Zion Baptist Church, right across from the 8th District, our neighbors. I had the opportunity to feature him on Fox 29 a couple of weeks ago for the amazing work they're doing on that Broad and Venango corridor. So I just want to thank Mr. Majors, thank Council Member Bass for recognizing the work of Mr. Majors and Zion Baptist Church, and congratulate him on his succession to pastor. Next week, our office will, in conjunction with the Mayor's Office of Muslim Engagement, our Commissioner's Office, our Councilmember Jones' office, we will be hosting a Ramadan toy drive during the month of Ramadan. Please reach out to our office with information on where you can donate toys. We're asking for new and unwrapped toys during the month of Ramadan. As my colleague mentioned, there are hundreds of thousands of Muslims who are celebrating in our city. We want to, make sure they have a blessed Eid. I want to thank the Committee of 70 and the Commissioner's Office as well. This past Monday, we hosted a civic education program for our community to educate them on how to become a committee person. This was very informative, it was engaging, and it allowed residents and community members the opportunity to learn about how to get involved at a grassroots level. That's what this program is about. We need our communities to stay involved in order for us to do our jobs as elected officials. And so we, encourage people to continue to get involved civically, whether it is as a committee person or as a block captain, as a nonprofit executive. We saw a bunch of folks here today who are grassroots community organizers. A few of them are in the 5th Council District today. And Mr. President, I do have a couple of bills that are on final passage today. We did hold one, but these bills are to improve the quality of life of residents in the 5th Council District, right? So, particularly the one bill regarding demolitions, this is about preserving housing, preserving affordable housing in our district. In August, there was an article in the Inquirer that said there was a 121% increase in the price of a newly constructed home versus one that was already existing, right? So that's what this is about. This is about creating naturally occurring affordable housing in our communities, right? It's a term that folks like to throw around now. So that's what this bill does. And I'm looking forward to continuing to work with all the stakeholders to make sure that this bill is more fair. I also like to thank my colleagues today for passing bill number 250998, which will protect the public health, safety, and welfare of the residents in the 5th Council District and all patrons of small businesses on the commercial corridors where it applies. We've consulted and connected with community on this bill, and this bill defines specifically and clearly what a commercial establishment is on those commercial corridors. So I want to thank the community leaders who testified today. They live with this issue each and every day. We heard from our ward leader in the 8th Ward, and she alluded to, we have to make sure that we're able to enforce these types of legislation, because the things that they have to live with each and every day, we shouldn't have to endure that in our communities here in the city of Philadelphia. This bill is about the need for our businesses and our community to just be a little bit more responsible, and it sets those guidelines on how to act responsibly in our communities, on our commercial corridors. So, we have over a projected $1 billion budget surplus, right? So I hope the city can properly enforce these laws. We can properly fund the efforts to enforce these laws. I hope we can fund those grassroots organizations that are on the ground working to improve our quality of life in our neighborhoods each and every day. So, Mr. President, I'm going to continue to fight for our community, for our neighbors. Because their quality of life matters, right? And to any resident, any patron listening, if your community is enduring, these, I would say, unscrupulous business practices, please reach out to our office. We will work with you to ensure that, we get those businesses to act responsibly. These businesses are open literally 24/7, selling narcotics. This worse than like the open air drug market that used to be on the corners, because they have a legal cover. So we really have to figure out how to tackle this issue holistically. And I want to thank my colleague Catherine Gilmore Richardson, who is continuing to work on this issue. And last but certainly not least, Mr. President, I want to wish my wife a happy Valentine's Day and ask her, please be my Valentine this year. Thank you so much, Mr. President.
boy just got Husband of the Year. That's what's up. That's what's up. I love that, though. That's what it's all about. Chair recognizes Councilmember Isaiah Thomas.
Boy, this boy putting the pressure on me, man. I was just trying to encourage people to donate to grassroots nonprofit organizations because of the resolution today. But I will say, no, in all seriousness, the organizations that came up here today are organizations who've been doing the work across the city of Philadelphia. And these are the type of organizations where $250, $500, it really goes a long way. So the effort this year is to support 10 grassroots nonprofit organizations. Every donation that's made will go to those organizations. I'm pledging myself to donate to the effort on Sunday for 215 Day of Giving. Thank you, Council President. Thank you, colleagues.
Thank you very much. I look forward to seeing that on your budget list. The chair now recognizes my majority whip, the outstanding, hardworking advocate for all young people here in the city of Philadelphia, Councilmember Isaiah Thomas, for a motion to adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. President. Happy Valentine's Day to everybody. And I move that council stands adjourned until Thursday, February 19th, 2026 at 10 a.m.
It has been moved and properly seconded that council stand adjourned until Thursday, February 19th, 2026 at 10 a.m. All those in favor will signify by saying aye. Anyone opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. Thank you all very much.